A very good morning to you and welcome to the newspaper review reaching you live from our studios at High Impact Television. We are being joined by a legal practitioner, and his name is Barrister Fatoki. Good morning, Barrister Fatoki. Many thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes. Now, Barrister Fatoki, there's even since last year, 2021, this call for the amendment of the Electoral Bill 2010 as amended in preparations for 2023 general elections has been on the front burner of the polity. But this is late February 2022, and we are still talking about giving assent to the bill, which a lot of stakeholders within the polity have said that it's not good enough for the electoral system in Nigeria. What's your take on it?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, I must say it's the duty and the responsibility of our legislature to make laws and to amend laws when the need arises for such an amendment. And we must commend them, albeit they chicken out at the initial stage. We must commend them of the efforts, different stakeholders, people clamoring for some amendments in the Electoral Act 2010.
Yeah.
And they set the law in motion by looking into same and thereafter bringing some amendments, notable amendments, in terms of transmission of results, in terms of the kind of primary, direct primary, and what have you. And they were, those were being raised as at the time the bill was sent for the assent of the president, of Mr. President. Those were being raised and issues were raised there and there. Initially, as a day, that was towards January before they went on their recess. Initially, I was of the view that when they come back, they should veto that bill and they should pass same into law. And that was why I believe they chickened out at that very stage. And because I think there was a particular clause in which direct primary was imposed on political parties.
Yeah.
And the Attorney General of the Federation spoke, I think, on behalf of the President and for himself, that you see, this law does not infringe on people's rights and what have you. And the legislative arm, at times you ought to stand on your decisions.
Okay.
Because I believe this is a combination of people that are saddled with the responsibility of making laws for the nation. And they also have dotted their I's and crossed their T's through their plenary sessions, through the processes of amending the laws. And I believe they also have done their assignments well. But they were the chicken out. Well, the bill was sent back. Different amendment was made. They removed, I think that was clause 84 of the bill, clause 87 or 84. I can't. I think in that line.
Okay.
And they removed that and gave an options that primary election political parties could either go by direct, indirect, or even by means of
consensus
candidate.
Yes.
And apart from that, they even went overboard, talking about the issue of delegates for primary elections and what have you, which I think is what is causing uproar right now. That if a political appointee, political office order, you ought to resign your position if you want to contest for election or you want to become a delegate. And they have their reasons for this, and as of now, there is no answer because that issue is causing a lot of uproar. I even went overboard from the offshoots of the previous amendments. And it's painful, and people are agitating. You see, for them to have raised issues like this, there will be concern. There will be issues that have been made. Now, if you are a political appointee and you are all delegates, they do say he who plays the piper dictates the tune.
Okay.
Some governors or president can appoint as much as possible political appointees, and automatically they become delegates. So in whose favor? We are still bringing back the era of God for that reason. We are still bringing back the choice of the government, the choice of the president. But once they resign, once you call a delegate or want to contest and resign position, then you have your free mind to cast your votes or your support for anybody your choice. And I think that was what the legislative arm looked into I'm glad about that decision. But it's so painful that at this stage, the president has not assented to the bill being proposed.
All right, Barrister Fatoki, now, if you look at it differently, the executive arm of government has been saddled with the responsibility of implementing the laws made by the legislative arm of government. Lawmaking, of course, that's the primary responsibility of the legislative arm of government. And during the electoral amendment, during the process when they were amending the bill, the lawmakers, most especially the Senate, have said that they were going to veto the power of the president in appending their signatures to the bill if the president declines assent. It was rejected the first time. They didn't veto that. This is the second time. It's still being delayed, and we cannot get any action from there. What would you say is meddling in this process? Is it politics, or what can you say about it?
Thank you very much. Of the truth, there must be check and balances on the tiers of government or the arms of government. When I talk about the legislative, the executive, and judiciary, section 4.6 of the Constitution.
Okay.
Though it provides for check and balances, but as they is, there must not be an undue interference in their responsibilities, in the discharge of their duties. And it's a pity that the democracy in which we practice as of today in Nigeria has really encouraged undue interference, majorly from the executive arm of government. I'm a practitioner, because the first look into the judiciary before I go back to the question you asked.
Okay.
Many times, a court deliver judgment. The executive, they are to administer the law. They are meant to obey, comply with the rule of law. They are meant to, what we call, to comply, to carry out the judgment of the court to enforce. And many times they just turn the deaf ear to it. Even when some judgments are made against political officers, against those authorities, against the IGP or police, those are undue interference. And let me say this. If that be done to the judiciary arm of government, if the executive carry out such a very, I think, on the interference of the judiciary arm of government, how much more the legislative arm, in which they all belong to the same major political sector, political system. So that's the problem we have. That's undue interference. Because I don't see the courage. I don't see how courageous our president is as of today to say I veto the power of the president. I don't see how courageous the Speaker of the House of Reps is as of today to say I veto the power of the president on this matter.
Okay.
In which the all belong to the political party system. So that is the problem with our democracy. And there is a long way to go. The undue interference is becoming unpalatable.
Yes, Barrister Fatoki. Now, a lot of people would disagree with you when you made that statement about the executive arm interfering in the responsibilities or the primary responsibilities of the legislative arm of government. The legislative arm of government is an autonomous institution. To an extent, they even have the right not to only veto the president's position in matters such as this, they have the right to summon the president to even come into the National Assembly to explain reasons for some certain things with regards to running the government of the country. So it's an autonomous institution on its own part. Why not focus the beam light or the searchlight on the powers of the legislative arm of government? It's like they are not making use of their powers, or they freely give themselves away for the executive to have its way.
Thank you very much. Yes, as you say, that they are in their power to veto what have you, and so
yes, they do.
Condition. What let me tell you this. There is what we call the law as it ought to be and the law as it is. That's next chapter and the other one. As it ought to be, there ought not to be any kind of interference. They are meant to carry out their duty and their responsibilities without any fear or favor of any government from the other side, without fear or intimidation. But as it is as of today, all these ones just on the surface, it's on the paper, it's in the constitution. This is your duty, this is your responsibility. But as it is, as of today, it's different from as it ought to be. We are both here in Nigeria. I think I felt corrected though. I think was it the Attorney General that was invited, or I think that was one minister was invited before the terrorist institution. I said no, it's just to the president and not to you. So what the call that? That is the undue interference from the executive arm.
Okay.
And I made a clear example of the undue interference towards the judiciary. And I said, if this could be done to the judiciary arm of government, how much more the legislative? Then let me go back to your question of the truth. They have the power to vote the president, they have the power to summon the president for any issue. But do they have the courage?
Then it's left for them. If they are the courage, the thing about courage is not a legislative matter. The thing about courage has to do with political will.
Comes into play.
Yes. Okay. Now.
I said, and that is where your due interference comes into play, which ought not to be in the first instance from the executive arm of government.
Okay, Barrister Fatoki.
The institutionalized arm of government.
Okay.
We must respect their decisions.
Okay, Barrister Fatoki. Now let's look at the back and forth that we're having between the legislative arm and executive arm of government with regards to signing the electoral bill into law or not. They've said it's going to have some form of the civil society organizations that have been protesting recently, calling for Mr. President's timely accent to the bill, is saying that it's going to have a negative effect on the elections come 2023 if he does not append his signature. Now, what kind of effect do you think, or what are the consequences if it is signed late? Because the law says about 360 days. INEC was supposed to give political parties 360 days to the briefing information to the election. Now, if the bills, the time when this bill is signed, if it falls short, then it's going to be less than 360 days, which will be contrary to the law, as stated in Section 28, subsection 1 in the Act. What's your point on that?
Thank you very much. Two things are likely to happen if there is delay for the absence of these proposed amendments of the 2010 Electoral Act.
Yes.
The first is that the Act itself, upon being amended, will be delayed and not be enforceable. Because by the time such amendment has been carried out, the provisions, the sections would have fallen short of the modus operandi.
Okay.
The mode of operation, the itemized the sections, the manner in which is also do the election. So the idea is flashed in time, and that will be a recourse against such provisions that can be challenged because as you know, this was lost at the time not being carried out, so such a thing will be made visible or viable by then. And once the law is being, once a bill is being passed into law, it becomes enforceable. And you have to discard the old law because you don't have to come back to the old law because there's not a law that this can be amended. So I would suggest that we are falling back to the old one, but I don't see the possibility of that when it has now become amended and the amendment affecting the text in terms of the text of the amendment.
Okay.
So what is likely to happen is there could be a postponement in the electionary process.
Okay.
Which allows for to accommodate all these issues. And let us get to that bridge until the recrossing.
Okay, so if I get you right, it means that if the bill is not signed, May, we're supposed to have an election in March or May, thereabouts. So if it's not signed before then, which would be less than a year, then there's a tendency and the likelihood that it can be moved forward to other dates like June, July.
Exactly, that might be all.
Okay, thank you very much. Now let's go to another very, very important topic of discussion that is still on the front burner of the polity, talking about the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, the tertiary institutions, teachers, and the federal government. They've been having a battle about signing memorandum of action, memorandum of understanding, meeting our demands, meeting our needs, but it seems we are not making headway in that respect. Now, what's your take on it?
Thank you very much. My take on this it boils down on the part of the definition of purpose and sincerity of government. What do I mean by definition of purpose? I don't know. We have what is known as basic agenda of government. And I think education is not a priority.
Yes.
Agenda of any governance. And if that purpose is well defined, I believe governments would have done their own part of the rather of action and what have you. They might have had in the past, or they have had in the past with ASU and what have you. And apart from that, the sincerity, this is not the first time that the Minister of the University will go on industrial action, go on one strike, and go back to the roundtable discussion with the executive of government and find ways to settle all the applied agitations in the educational sector, talking about the funding, their payment, talking about the library, talking about the welfareism of the institutions and what have you.
Yeah.
This is not the first time that we're going on and forth. They are lobbying. Yes, dialogue is good, mediation is good, consolation is good. The law allows for that. But that was the sincerity of purpose. You cannot all the other if not all the other parties at ransom, and you live at large. You do all things at large. You have agreed also time in which you begin to enforce all these things. And you see, that shows the lack of sincerity. I'm sorry to say it, but that's the truth. On the part of government towards our educational sector. And well, trying to elements, they do say the grass suffer for it. Now we can see the students and say our institutions coming to a kind of like extension, a long-term extension for the educational policy, for the even for the integrity of our students. People that have been 24 years in institutions and I'm saying 6 years. They are not suffering for all this. The lecturers, the academic staff, sorry to say this, many of them, I'm speaking as one of past, many of them are adjunct lecturers in other private institutions, no more strike. So they are less concerned of the truth, and the students are the ones that have got the pain. And I think if the government really have the right of the students and they have the right of education at heart, they also do the people. And even if they cannot do it in the totality of it, they also have been seen to have been doing something tangible towards achieving their order of action. But they have not done anything tangible. I think it was something to the clear hands. So I think the strategy embarked on presently is well called for. And I think the government to sit back and be seen doing the mismanagement because overnight. We couldn't do everything overnight, but they should be seen doing the needful towards the rights of our institutions.
Okay. Barrister Fatoki is a legal practitioner, joins us via phone call this morning on the newspaper review. Barrister Fatoki, very much big thank you for your time this morning.
We are most welcome.
Thank you. And we are drawing the curtain right here on the newspaper reviews this morning. Many thanks for watching. You can send eyewitness report to info@impactstudios.com and direct messages on all our social media platforms at ImpactTV and ImpactTV UK. I am Oyinpriye Krumale.